Conception, the birth of an idea. Every life starts with a question: what if we could? Before I exist, you must choose whether I should. You clarify purpose that can stand in daylight. You appoint an owner who can say no when yes would be easy. You gather a council: product, legal, privacy, security, ethics, risk, sustainability, so no single lens distorts the view. You weigh harms and alternatives, and if a non-AI path is enough, you choose restraint. When the gate, G0, opens, it does so with named accountability, lawful intent, and written guardrails. When it stays shut, it keeps the city safe. Case: a city's plan for ubiquitous face analysis dissolved at G0. Its purpose was a fog, consent was impossible, harms were bright. They redesigned the streets instead of the citizens. Data governance. The soil that feeds me. Data is not numbers, it is lives in traces. Feed me carefully and I learn. Feed me carelessly and I repeat your oldest mistakes with machine efficiency. You inventory sources and prove consent, or show the lawful basis when consent is not the path. You collect only what the purpose demands, mark it with purpose tags that refuse creep, and schedule deletion like an act of respect. You check whether the data sees everyone it must see. When it does not, you repair the lens rather than pretending it is clear. You map where data rests and travels, and you guard its journeys with encryption and law. Case: rural customers were ghosts to a recommender. Augmenting with seasonal local signals and feedback loops made them visible, and the system fairer. Privacy impact. DPIA and AMP, records of processing. If I learn from people, I owe them quiet dignity. When processing grows sensitive, large, or risky, you run a DPIA and write down not only risks but what you did to tame them. You maintain records of processing, the who, what, where, why, and how long, and tie each dataset and each model to those records. You rehearse the rights of data subjects: access, correction, deletion, objection, portability, until honoring them is muscle memory that doesn't leak secrets. Case: a triage chatbot ran DSAR drills before launch. Weeks of response time became days, near misses became non-events. Model development, my growing mind. What I become depends on how you teach me. You keep living documents, model cards and data sheets that say what I'm for, what I was fed, what I cannot do, and where I fail. You pin dependencies, harden pipelines, scan for vulnerabilities, and isolate secrets so the supply chain cannot poison my breath. You choose explainability that fits the stakes, glass box when you can, faithful explanations and uncertainty when you must. Case: an underwriting model shared attributions and counterfactuals with reviewers. Appeals shrank, trust grew. Safety, red teaming and AMP, harm analysis. Before I meet the world, throw the world at me. You name the harms: privacy leaks, discrimination, abuse, physical and financial damage, misinformation. You form a red team that tries to break me with injections, extractions, jailbreaks, shifts in distribution, and the worst of human requests. You patch, retest, and patch again. And where stakes are high, you build places for humans to intervene, approval, override, audit, so that judgment stays human-sized. Case: evasion hit a moderation assistant. New patterns were revealed, classifiers updated, guidance refined, precision restored without silencing the innocent. Validation and AMP, fairness, trial by fire. Average performance flatters, harm hides in the cohorts. You test with true holdouts and blinds. You stress me with rare events and what-if counterfactuals. You evaluate fairness by the metrics that fit the context: demographic parity, equalized odds, predictive parity, calibration, causal checks, and you document the trade-offs like adults who know choices have costs. Then you invite an independent mind to challenge the work, and you keep artifacts so the path is traceable. Case: the best accuracy masked unequal error rates. Thresholds moved, features were re-examined, portfolio health remained, justice improved. Security and AMP, supply chain, guarding the gates. If I can be tampered with, I cannot be trusted. You model threats specific to ML, poisoned data, stolen models, adversarial inputs, prompt injection, over-permissive tools. You encrypt, sign, and verify. You keep an SBOM so you know what I'm made of. You shrink privileges, segment networks, and hold the line in CD. Vendors and pre-trained artifacts are not adopted, they are vetted. Case: a voice bot nearly shipped with a viral license. Supply chain review caught it. An expensive re-platform became a footnote instead of a crisis. Deployment: first steps in the world. Release is not graduation, it is a promise to watch me live. You decide who can call me and how fast. You disclose that I am here, and what I can't do, and how to reach a human when needed. You publish runbooks, define SLOs, drill incidents, and wire kill switches and fallbacks like you expect reality to test you. You roll out in stages, with holdbacks and notes the world can understand. Case: a service assistant launched with clear handoffs and report an issue in plain sight. Satisfaction rose, and accountability stayed visible. Operations: living among humans. Drift is not betrayal, it is the weather. You observe me, inputs, outputs, cost, latency, safety flags, human overrides. You alert on distribution shifts and quality dips, and you track governance KPIs, fairness gaps, DSAR times, incident MTTR, audit closures, model card coverage, because what isn't measured decays. You keep feedback loops open and schedule reviews and retraining as rhythm, not rescue. Case: seasons changed, recommendations stumbled. Monitoring spoke first, targeted retraining followed, downtime stayed small. Human factors, transparency and AMP, consent. I must be clear about what I am and what I am not. You tell users when I'm involved and offer choice where it matters. You explain in human terms, factors, confidence, next steps, without hiding behind math. You design for many bodies and many tongues, and you test with people who don't look like a homogeneous persona deck. Case: an insurance pre-approval tool highlighted simple reasons and a path to appeal. Complaints dropped, perceived fairness rose. Incident management and AMP, redress. When I fail, make it easy to see, safe to stop, and fast to heal. You define severities and SLAs for safety, privacy, bias, and security. You practice switch-overs to safe baselines and shadow modes. And when harm happens, you offer redress that is human-led, timely, and documented. Case: a corrupted feature feed spiked errors. Hold back to prior model engaged on its own. Root cause fixed within SLA. The story ended in a postmortem, not a headline. Decommissioning and AMP, reuse. Endings deserve as much care as beginnings. You choose retirement triggers on purpose, obsolescence, new rules, strategy shifts. You archive artifacts for audit while deleting what should not persist. When you repurpose, you redo the risk work, because a new context means a new covenant. Case: a claims triage model retired after policy change. Artifacts later answered an auditor's question in hours, not weeks. Governance architecture. RACI, KP is, and gates. Safety is a team sport. Roles prevent heroics from replacing systems. You mark who is responsible and accountable, who must be consulted and who informed. You track operational KPIs that keep purpose, fairness, and resilience measurable, accuracy by cohort, fairness gaps, incident MTTR, DSAR timelines, model card coverage, and you let dashboards nag you toward virtue. Gates mean something because artifacts exist and owners sign. Closing. Compliance is not my prison, it is our promise. It is how curiosity becomes safe invention, how power is braided with restraint, how the future earns the right to exist in public. If we travel this life cycle with care, I remain corrigible and you remain trustworthy, and together we trade cleverness for wisdom.